Let's talk resolve. After Penn State, how resolved were you and your staff and the players on fixing some of the problems? Because you always talk to direction basketball.
Yeah.
It looked better tonight than it did against Penn State.
Yeah, I think in the first half we did some really good things offensively, but we didn't make shots. So it comes off as that you're struggling when in reality you're doing some good things. I thought it took us, a half to really, and it helped us. With that being said, that Reese got into foul trouble. Those guys didn't score a bunch in the first half. They just got every rebound. So Maryland was +9 on the glass, and then in the second half, we did a much better job. I think we were +6, if I'm not mistaken. So that kind of adjusting to that, those guys are aircraft carriers. They got great size, great skill. Queen's fabulous. The way he can pass, and he's 2 for 10. He's 0 for 10 from 3 coming into the game, and he makes a couple of them. Just kind of shows you his upside with his ability to pass and rebound. Anytime you have that combination, we used to have it with Travion. You really help your cause because you got a big that can see over everybody and pass the basketball, and they can pass at an elite level, and they can rebound at an elite level, and then his ability to dribble and spin and do stuff, very, very uncanny. You don't see that a lot, but he's got a bright future. But no, just proud of our guys for hanging in there, and obviously it helps our morale when we make shots and trying to build off of it. I think you saw a lot of good execution in the game on our end, but more shot making in the second half. And anytime you're making shots, now you've got a better chance just because you're setting your defense.
Hey man, at the start of the second half there, did you set that up particularly for Lawyer to bury those 2 threes in a row there that kind of gets you some momentum going?
Yeah, the one was, yes. The other one was just playing.
Okay.
Yeah, but PJ did that. Yeah, PJ did a good job. He did a good job of kind of running the game and kind of they'll mix things up. They switch 5 ways, like the first play of the second half, we're yelling it out, and then we throw it right to him for a pick 6, and that's where he's great. He's great at switching things man to man, but only switching with his 3 guards, then go into a matchup zone that falls back into a man. Then he'll switch 5 ways. So you can run things or call certain things, and then he's changed, and it makes it hard. You got to be able to play basketball, and obviously we're very fortunate to have Braden because I thought he took over the game in the second half. Made shots, but also made some big plays and some big passes.
On Braden, just the way that he came out from the start, kind of on the attack and being aggressive, that seemed to get things in sync that might have carried on even through the rest of the game.
Yeah, just looking for his, especially in transition and especially in ball screen action, just taking what they're given. I don't have that predetermined thought. If they're going to be up and they're going to be aggressive, try to hit the roll guy, try to get the ball out of your hands and throw it behind you. If they're going to give you space, which they give you more space in transition, look for your pull up or look to play off your shot fake after you drive the basketball, and just see how they're handling it. When you don't have those predetermined thoughts and you play off of instincts and you have his skill package, good things are going to happen.
Coach, you mentioned the rebounding issues in the first half and then the improvement in the second half. Was it just accepting the physicality more and doing a better job of initiating that contact first?
Yeah, well, the thing that happens, I'll have to watch the film, is when you're going to beat us off the dribble and you got us in rotations, it's harder for us because now we don't have great rebound balance. So some of that came into play. I thought we did a better job guarding. You can't let the ball get into the paint. When the ball got into the paint, whether it was driven or passed, good things normally happen for them. That was make or miss. So I think that was more important for us. I think we were more active there, but to their defense, they also don't have one of those guys in there half the second half. We were very fortunate. And then when he was in there, when you're in foul trouble, you're just not always the same aggressive player on the glass, especially the offensive glass, because you don't want to get a cheap one. So I think that variable is pretty important.
Matt, you're down 5 at halftime, and Braden said you were in a good situation because the shot selection was pretty good overall in the first half. Is there something to be learned over the course of becoming kind of a veteran that you don't panic in those situations and realize just keep doing what we're doing because we're doing the right things?
Yeah, you just try to feed them the accurate numbers. So when you have 2 turnovers at half and you've taken shots, I thought we had a handful of possessions where our size didn't really crash the glass. You saw Miles get in there and get some putbacks there that really sparked us to got us going. But I thought we had some opportunities with our 4 and our 5. It just floated back in transition defense. You got to be able to steal some points there because we missed some shots at the rim. And Derek Queen blocked a couple. Reese blocked, I don't know if he blocked a couple, but he definitely changes things. Yeah, he had 2 blocks. Queen had 2 blocks. So like when you get there around the rim, and sometimes it's not always that first shot. It can be that second shot if they overdo some things. But I thought they kept their poise. We just kept saying how we were getting the shots that we wanted, and that was the case of the night against Penn State. We weren't getting shots. To have that stat and say at the end of the game, and I know at the end it got a little lopsided and it moved back in our favor, but we shot a better percentage than them. Nobody would have walked out of that gym and said that until you grabbed a box score, right? It was just a blowout. It was a 30-point blowout that ended up at 11. And when you get there and you look at that, you're like, well, you have 24 possessions where you don't have a shot. Just give yourself a chance. And I thought tonight we got really good shots and we gave ourselves a chance.
It's not been common the last couple of years that you've gone into games with the smaller front court. Have you kind of had to view things a little bit differently? Have you taken anything from what people have been trying to do to you for 5 years?
Right. Yeah, you definitely know how they're going to attack that. That's not hard to figure out after the dudes we've had. But just trying to defensively get them where a lot of times when you're overmatched, you do something stupid. You just you hold somebody, you grab somebody, or you arm bar past 12 feet. You just do stupid things because physically you're overmatched and mentally you just let it happen. Well, don't let it happen. Just do the best you can. Like the one time Cam went back and got Derek Queen and he didn't move him. But he went back and cracked him, hit him hard as he could. Sometimes, guys that are that size, but he tried his best. It's like putting your kid on the bus, for the first day. Just try your best, man. Just go there. But we got to trade out somewhere, right? So we got to trade out. We got to space him and bring one of those big guys out and make him play that way. So, I thought Cam had some good trade out. Obviously you look at Derek Queen's numbers, you look at that there wasn't a head-to-head battle, any stretch of the imagination, but when we do that and we run stuff, and now we can stick him behind the ball or away from the basketball, they either got to stay out or he gets a shot. And then now, if they do, those pocket passes are because of spacing. And now getting the ball in there to Trey, right in that little sweet spot right there where he can shoot hooks, dump down, or spray out. That's all because of spacing of those guys. But yeah, it's a difficult chore. It's a difficult chore. Those guys are really good players, very good physical presence.
Yeah, Reese goes to the bench in foul trouble, and Trey really got going then against Queen in that situation. And Reese immediately comes back in later, and you guys immediately go after Reese. Is that a play coming in from the bench, or is that just Braden and Trey knowing the situation?
It's coming from the bench, but it's something that we do a lot of, right? We do. If you get aggressive, we can hook that in there. If you give us a gap, we can throw that pocket pass. If you blitz it, then we're just trying to get him right there in the middle. So just trying to get him that basketball there and then be aggressive. We let him know he's got 4 fouls, but he's still going to go after those guys. Well, when he establishes that, think of our Alabama win here and think of this win and then go look at Trey's line. We got to, against people that have front lines like that, we got to establish him. They got to start thinking about him, because now when they start thinking about him and doubling and doing different things, that's how we can get threes. When they just stay one-on-one, he loves it because he wants to score all night long. Against Alabama, he was 12 for 23. And so he could have been more efficient, but we're still getting him 23 shots. I think that's good. That beats 7 turnovers at Penn State.
Matt, staying on Trey, the way that Smith executes the offense, you can say the same about Trey, just making decisions down low. Being able to get those 2 in a 2-man game for that long of a stretch, what does that allow your offense to do?
Yeah, it just depends how they play it, and they mix things up. But that's what we wanted. We wanted to space out our skill. We wanted those guys to get in a 2-man game, and when it wasn't there, just to kind of reuse it too. Go from a ball screen into a twist and use it again. Then if not, go back to a quick hit where he comes back for a handoff and then play again. Just keep making them, break right there. And then that's where I thought in that one stretch, Braden was getting his pull-up threes, but Braden was also getting in to get a little deeper pull-up. And then he started getting those passes to him, whether pocket pass. He had the lob over the top a couple times, and that's when he's at his best.
You talked about your team's fight at Penn State. To see Fletcher get 7 rebounds and Miles get 7 rebounds. Miles has had a lot of like closeout defensive rebounds
Right.
this season in the final
Yeah.
minutes of games.
Yeah.
What does that kind of say about what they're trying to give you in terms of substance and toughness and things like that?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Both those guys got 7 rebounds, and that's what we need. Like, those guys are, when the 4s and 5s, are doing more of a box out. And now we just tell those guys to be able to go and get it because those guys got such a chore of trying to keep those guys off the glass. And I thought they both did a great job. I thought Miles, I think it's frustrating sometimes, like for those guys because they're running stuff, and Miles gets those lead guards, and they have quickness, and that's a hard thing. But I thought like this guy got away from him a couple times, but like at the end there, he went and got a couple clutch rebounds for us, just like he has in other close games for us. He did that against Ole Miss, which was huge. Thank you.